me in 15 seconds. But here's the Saturn rock. It's really big. Hello, friends. Hello. Welcome to this episode of the show, focusing on the next 30 days. We're recording this at the beginning of April 2022. So if you're watching this when it drops, this will be for the month of April. Otherwise, whenever you find this, regardless of where you find it, this is a timeless channeling, so to speak. In the background, we have robins and blackbirds. So we're going to take those as our spirit allies coming through. But before we get into all of that, if you're new here, welcome, settle in. Thank you so much for joining me, taking a chance on our channel. If you are returning, you may notice that our space looks different. We're in a new location, a new state, a new city, a new house. The light in this North Dakota world is much different than Texas. It's just very interesting dynamic up here. Something to get used to. But hence why you may notice, of course it's kind of tiny, but our windows are spaced differently and so forth. So next time when I do a face-to-face, you'll get a better glance of that. So I did set this up as if we were going to pull cards, but let's just tap in and see what the guides want to bring forward for the next 30 days. And I see 222 on my timer. The other thing I'm noticing is I was fine throat-wise until I started this show, and now my throat is getting like all blocked up. So there may have to be some healing we do. We'll just see what's going to come through. So I'm in my new studio space. This is a really old house. It's over 100 years old. The floors are creaky. There's a lot. It's got a lot of stories to tell. So first of all, I want to wrap us all in love, light, and light love. Inviting in the spirit guides who overlight this show. Archangel Michael, Archangel Metatron, the Pleiadians, to join us in this space, wrapped in their warm embrace. And they want me to start off with the poem. So I need to go find this poem, because apparently this is going to be the basis of our next 30 days. So the poem is by Naomi Long Madgett. Some of you may already be familiar with it. Actually found it in the book Change Your Thoughts, Change Your Life, where I've been kind of studying the Tao Te Ching and Lao Tzu's teachings from Wayne Dyer's perspective. Wayne Dyer being a long-held and much adored spirit guide friend of mine. Part of our soul family here at TLC for the Soul. But the poem is, I wouldn't coax the plant if I were you. Such watchful nurturing may do it harm. Let the soil rest from so much digging, and wait until it's dry before you water it. The leaf's inclined to find its own direction. Give it a chance to seek the sunlight for itself. Much growth is stunted by too much prodding. 2, eager tenderness. The things we love, we have to learn to leave alone. And a Ralph Waldorf, I can't say it, Ralph Waldo Emerson quote, by atoms, by trifles, by sots, heaven operates. The needles are nothing. The magnetism is all. So, this is about releasing control. Seems like that's the overall, where do I need to allow and let go? And they're telling me shamans drum. So let's see how they want to do this. It may just be a channeling with cards. It may not be the pick a card that I thought it was going to be. So let's just see where this is leading us. I got a lot more nature around me than I did before. So they may guide me to look out the window and see what's happening. Oh, shit. Okay, guys. Oh, my God. These guides. So I looked out the window, and on the ground is Fraggles. Right almost under my window is a robin. I need some window cleaning. I can't see it very well, but it is. It's a robin redbreast. I'm not going to try to snap a shot of it because I'm just not. It's not going to. I don't think I'm going to be able to catch it. All right. So robins coming up again. So highlights of spring and new beginnings and all of that good stuff. And this shaman's drum deck is taking a while to shuffle. So this deck was made in conjunction and channeling with some Native American elder spirit guides. I think I'm up in some of their territory now, way up here in Cheyenne country, and my home is right off of the Cheyenne River. This land, as with any land, has a lot of history. So many I'm not familiar. All the guides, spirit guides of the land here are somewhat new to me. So we may get new friends who join us. Okay, what do you guys want to say through the deck for the next 30 days? Okay, we have a card coming out. Peace offering. What can you do right now to give thanks for all that you have? So let's see, how's that light look? Oh, much better. So I do find it interesting that I've got the Santa Cruz Mountains, the old growth forest in the Santa Cruz Mountains is kind of the trees in the photo, the background of this reading. And so nature playing a big part, as usual, in what we're doing here, what we're doing when we work with our energy. So you may be asked to go out on the land and make some sort of an offering to the nature spirits or the spirits of the land where you reside, as a way to just show gratitude. Oh, yeah, lots of chills. Chills is my confirmation. Or to see how you can be of assistance. So when I first talked about moving up here, I haven't really talked about it on this channel. I talked about it over on Instagram. But what was I going to say when I first talked about moving here? I don't know. Oh, I said I didn't really understand why I was being brought to this location, because this land, this place, this space is not my manifestation. I was asked by Source and my guides to come up here, and they showed this to me. And so I'm here kind of asking how I may be of service, because if you're on this journey with me, we're all bringers of the light, which is our term for a light warrior, a light worker, a starseed, 144,000, whatever you want to call it. But we're in service to Source for Gaia and humanity. This is how I phrase it. I am in service to Source for Gaia and humanity, for the highest and best good of all concerned. I'm an open vessel, I'm an open channel, and I'm here to serve. So how may I serve? So you may be asking yourself, or for this next 30 days, asking Source, asking your guides, asking the spirits of the land around you how you may serve. And I keep hearing reciprocity. So it's not a one-sided, like, I'm just going to go make a peace offering, right? Everything is a balance of giving and receiving. So I have noticed the manifestation, it's not really manifestation, but I have noticed the reciprocity almost somewhat instantaneous. So for example, when I give back, or when I give, in this case, we'll just keep it with the land since that's coming up. But when I give to the land, the fairies you always can tell when the fae are around, because right away they're showing you, like, there's that little piece of trash over there. Can you go pick it up? So if you decide to be in service to the land, you may be shown in your special little place. You may be shown or asked to do something specifically. And so in that way, you are serving Gaia. And I've noticed that the reciprocity, the giving back from the land or something else of equal measure is almost instantaneous. Like you do some service work and then you kind of are rewarded with something back. It may not be exactly equal, like the land may not turn around and like give you something back, but you may get something back that you most need in this now. And so it looks like service work to your location that you're in, honoring it for having you there. I always kind of say, like, thank you for hosting. I even say to Gaia, being a starseed, I'm like, thank you for hosting me here. Thank you for hosting me on this land, spirits of the land, spirits of this place. Thank you for hosting me here, because we are a guest on this planet. We are, most of us, if you're a starseed, you're a guest on the planet. You didn't originate from here. And even if you are an earth, what I call earth seed, earth child, earth angel, you're kind of being hosted in different locations based on your energy signature and your DNA profile. So what can you do to honor the spirits of the land, the spirits of the space, the spirits of your home? I keep saying I want a house elf. Oh my God, so bad. So every time I say I want a house elf, Spirit's like, no, not yet. So, because a house elf, I think, is supposed to travel. It's supposed to be he or she or it, however you want. The energy is supposed to stick with you for a while. And so Spirit keeps saying, like, it's not time yet for a house elf. And I'm like, oh, okay. Because it's kind of dedicated to you and your family. And I feel like, there's going to be some adjustments there. So this house elf energy doesn't want to come through. But then I was watching Bridgerton's. Oh, I love Bridgerton. And I was like, I want a lady's maid. Or how they all have, like, all the aristocracy have, like, the ladies' maid. The girls have, like, the ladies' maid or whatever. And the men have, like, the man's. I don't want to call it a maid, because some of the terminology obviously is different now, but I want, like, the, who is it? Like Alice from the Brady Bunch. I want, like, an Alice, or like in the book, in all my Thunder Rose books, I want oh heck, no, I haven't touched those books in so long. I almost forgot her name, but I want, like, their house person. So I was like, I'm going to call in a lady's maid. Like, right, they help them get dressed and everything. I don't know where this is going. Anyway, so reciprocity. Holy smokes. Okay. Oh, and there's the deck I want, but it's out the door. Hold on. I'm going to see if I can grab it. You can hear my floors creak. Oh, I have to take my dog gate down. Oh, it's right here, though. Okay. So I have to keep the dog out of my room. That is really noisy. not very ASMR, is it? I have to keep my dog out of the room because she is an adventure girl and she likes to rub around all over the ground and then come lay on my bed. All right, I'm going to get this deck, the Believe in Your Own Magic deck by Amanda Lovelace. I know I just shoot in there sometimes with my hand. And we're going to draw a card from this deck. So what's next for the next 30 days? Oh, we got cards falling all over the place. Okay, hold on. Oh my gosh. And this house has ladybugs all inside of it. I'm just looking down because there's one down here on the floor as I went to pick up these cards. And my son is like, Mom, I'm trying to walk around and avoid all the ladybugs on the floor, but I just can't do it sometimes. So we have like little smashed ones. I'm like, sorry, I don't see you down there always. But we got 3 cards. This is a crazy reading. All right, we got 3 cards. Do I do them? So let's do them sequentially. So the first one is mural. Be your own first priority. So there's a castle. There's a little cat. She's like making some drawings on the wall. There's a little pretty plant in the background. And she certainly has a lot of, I don't like the gray. She has a lot of gray, blue, and black going on. Okay, so let me see. Because this card has meant different things at different times. So for the month of April, or whenever you're watching this for the next 30 days, what do we want to share about the mural card? There's the paint, all different colored paints. Yeah, I think I want to bring it a little bit closer again. Her wardrobe, and just for me personally, seems a little like, because there's all these colors around her, and she has kind of like almost like the what I would call like the corporate wardrobe on. When I worked in corporate, obviously stood out because, especially that's a whole long story. Why are you having me go there? All right, there's something going on here. So this may be multiple meanings for different people. But when I first worked in corporate, I actually, before working in the corporate world, I worked at a bank, a savings and loan. And, we could pretty much, as long as we dressed professionally, we could pretty much wear whatever we want. There was no like quote unquote dress code. And I worked with a lot of other people my age. So I was like what was I? I was like late teens, early 20s when I started working there. And so I worked with a lot of people the same age. And, it was the late 80s. And we kind of dressed like that. And I worked with some very colorful people. They dressed very colorfully. We would like work all day and like stiletto heels and stuff. And we just had a very colorful wardrobe. So that wardrobe kind of carried over to my corporate day when I started working at the mutual funded company. I've talked about that in other videos before, but that wardrobe kind of carried over. But I knew in the corporate world, I had at that point aspirations for myself, like I wanted to learn and do and experience some different things there. And I actually had one of my managers at that point tell me like, well, you're not going to get anywhere if you continue to, he was somewhat blunt. I think he was very uncomfortable having the conversation with me, but he basically said like, well, you're not going to go anywhere dressed the way you are. That's kind of the way it came out. Like, you're going to have to change your wardrobe and get more in line with, quote unquote, how we are in the corporate world. And I was like, so like caught off guard by that. And so I did, because I wanted to kind of work the ranks there, so to speak. I did kind of change up my wardrobe. And rather than being, because I was still very colorful, like I remember going to work one time and I had like a red, not a mini skirt, but like a red above the knee skirt. I had a bright orange sweater. I had red pumps. And to them, that was like, oh my God, you are a little bit too much over the top. If you want to like work your way up to a whatever, I didn't know what I wanted to be, but if you wanted to like get noticed and get promoted and all that, then you kind of had to quote unquote fit in. So story's coming up for a reason. I don't know how it applies to you, but they wouldn't have me share it if it wasn't for whatever's going on here. So let's just see how the whole story plays out. So I remember changing my wardrobe, and going with bland black and tan, and I still tried to work some colors in, like maroon. I remember having some maroon suits. I remember getting I had a polyester. I loved like old 70s, like polyester suits, like vintage. And I had like a pale pink one and some different colors. And I tried to like work that in and still make it seem like it was, corporate acceptable. And then towards the end, when my spiritual awakening started, and I switched from the Texas office to the California office, I kind of really didn't care anymore. There were some things that happened. I talk about it more in my podcast episode, Mobius Strip, which was several years ago. If you're on the podcast, if you're listening from a podcast provider, you can go back and you can listen to that one. But some things happened that was kind of the start of my time here is coming to an end situation, where spirit was kind of like, this is going to wrap up soon. I started to dress however I wanted again. I didn't really care, because I was like, I just feel like, my future here at this organization is coming to a close. It was right before I left in 2015. So for several years, I just wore like my fishnets and my different colors and whatever. And I can remember people saying like, oh my gosh, I love the way you dress. It's so whatever. I don't remember what the words were, but because everybody here just wears the corporate uniform, the tan and the black and the whatever. So in a long drawn out story that I've just told you, it's kind of like Spirit's way of saying, just be yourself. But I get the sense that some of you are still trying to fit in somewhere, I don't know where, it may not be the corporate world, just based on her outfit. And whenever I've pulled this card in the past, they've never had me focus on the outfit before. It's always been on the castle or kind of what she's doing. But I'm very drawn to the colors of the paint pots and the fact that her outfit, she reminds me of how I tried to fit in, because she has like the gray shirt and the black, and her hair. People, I did not censor the hair at all. I used to color my hair. I remember one time I had like orange, red, and blonde kind of, I don't know how it was. I don't remember exactly how it was, but the hair was not censored at all. And then she's trying with the blue tights. So you may be in a space where like you have to kind of wear some sort of a boring outfit. And so you're being asked to like take a little bit of a gamble, so to speak, and don't be afraid to like put a little bit of your own pizzazz into your appearance or your outward profile. That's different. So, you can still show who you are and not, and not ruffle feathers or whatever, and do it in a way that is meaningful to you. So that's funny. Okay. So, wow. So the month of April is about, or the next 30 days, however you want to look at this, is a little bit about coming out of your shadow, showing a little bit more about who you are. I can remember too, I would have like the corporate suit, but I would still wear like an antique pin or a vintage scarf or something. And I was like, I still tried to push the envelope as much as I possibly could, but still adhere to the unspoken rule, right? No one would ever print that in some sort of employee handbook. This is very corporate based, but I still try to like adhere to that, but push the envelope slightly. So this may be a message for some of you then. This is coming up too, if it has to do with career, that your career is getting ready to change. Possibly, because I did mention that, where things started to take a turn and Spirit was like, at that point, I never really was kind of consciously talking to my guides, until about 2013. I wasn't like consciously on the spiritual path. Never mind. That's a long drawn out story, but it just may mean that there's a change coming for you. And because you're consciously aware of your guides and your journey, they're saying take this as kind of a like heed the calling, that things may be changing up for you in terms of your career, the location of your work office, they're saying, because that did come up in this story as well. So I moved from one corporate location to a totally different one, which was very much more to my liking. California is one of my, I know not everybody agrees with me, but California is one of my happy, you don't have to agree with me at all, but California is one of my happy places, whether you agree with that or not. Anything with a beach and an ocean is my happy space. So take note of that. All right, please let's move on to the next card. Okay, the next card is coming down on the right. Is number 28, protest, start a revolution. Now first thing I noticed is there's two castles going on here. The first card had a castle. This card has a castle. And does this have anything to do with starting a revolution? I'm noticing, here, let me just show you what I'm noticing. I'm noticing, first of all, the numbers, I can't hold it. So these cards are so fat. So the first castle is number 25. The second castle, you can't see it, but it's number 28. But I'm noticing a 1-tower castle and over here a 3-tower castle. And are the people important in this? Let me see, because there's 3 people. And there's a lot of people in the background holding up signs. What is going on with this protest card? It's got a couple different meanings. First of all, the first one that they're telling me is standing up against, it plays into this reading actually, standing up against the hierarchy is how they're saying it, or the monarchy, which is quite interesting too. Where did that go? Hold on, I have to see something here. Oh, damn it. Okay, never mind. Standing up against the monarchy, the hierarchy. So some of you may be called into service of a different kind, where you are asked to be a frontliner in some way, shape, or form. Some of you, it may be more local to your area, where you are asked to stand up for the land, stand up for the, why would you call it the lower man? Stand up for those kind of less privileged who can't stand up for themselves. Spirits make me laugh today. Stand up. Is it the Pleiadians? Yes, they're saying they're all around me. You guys, stand up for yourself. Stand up for others. And some may actually be called to fly. They're specifically saying fly to another location and to join a stand-up. Okay. We're not pushing agendas here. So they're showing me Standing Rock, and I live very close now to where Standing Rock was. And everyone listening may not be familiar with it. If you want to, you can Google it. But it was a protest, basically, for, oh my God, I'm getting a lot of chills. So let me keep going with this. It was a protest because the quote unquote white man wanted to come in and build and mess around with the river that supplied some of the reservations in the area around Standing Rock. And so did the Native American elders and the Native American folks in that area. The spirits of the land rose up and basically reached out for assistance. And many people were called to Standing Rock to join in what was supposed to be a peaceful protest But I don't want to get too much into that. It was not very, there were some not very nice things that happened. So some of you may be called into that kind of environment. So I find that quite interesting. It may not be the Ukraine, which is the obvious one, right? Like, but maybe, yeah, they're saying, yes. Okay, hold on. They're saying that you may be called into something like joining the Mercy Corps and going to the surrounding areas. They're specifically telling me Poland and helping. That's very specific. And helping, they're saying it's only like a temporary assignment, but helping with the ground efforts that are going on over there with the, oh my God, I'm getting so many chills. So that's just spirit poking me saying, yes, that's exactly what we want people to hear. But with helping with the refugees over there and helping with those ground efforts, they're saying it specifically around the, for those of you listening, around the areas of like moral support. And that did come up in my meditation this morning, as part of the meditation I do every day with Master Co. We spend a little bit of time, sending blessings to, the Ukraine and surrounding areas, which is some of the top of the news right now, what's going on. Depending on when you listen to this, it might not be. But, and it may be something similar that you're called into action for, because Mercy Corps specifically, does work in many, many different locations. But when I tapped into the refugees, I don't always do that. But when I did, I just felt like, and it's pretty obvious, like you shouldn't have to tap in to realize that they need a lot of moral support, and hope is one of the things that was a big push, that the hope factor needs to rise. And so for some of my bringers of the light who are able to heed that call, like you're not going to get the calling if you're not able to handle it, right? So if spirit calls you into service to the land over there or somewhere similar, like they're not going to call you if you're not physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, financially able to go. If you heed the call and you say you want to go and join a specific effort, then you are going to, you're going to manifest everything you need to be able to make that happen. And you're going to rack up some really good karma along the way for that humanitarian. Yeah, I'm getting really emotional around that. So for that humanitarian effort. So I would say if that's something you've been thinking about or interested in, then you should explore that further with your guides. And now if you're listening to this video when it drops or at any time, set the intention that that's what you want to do, and you will be completely supported the entire way. So that's very exciting. Definitely not my calling, but I'm excited for you, those of you that are brave enough to want to do something like that. Wow. So for the next 30 days, how does that play in? So they're saying that if that's you, you may get the calling to do that. You'll know, just ask for additional signs. So this reading, the chills. This reading is your first confirmation. And so regardless of what type of calling it is, if it's local to your area or if it's more international, ask to be shown some additional signs so that you can be clear about what you're being called into, and then sit down and really journey or call, however you best communicate with your guides, and ask for some more information about that. And then once you're very clear on your intention, once you're like, yes, I want to do this service, then the people you need to be in contact with in your physical reality will start to show up for you. So once you put your foot in the water, put your toe in the water and dip it in a little bit, then spirit will reciprocate and send you all the support that you need to make all of that happen. Wow, pretty cool. All right, and our last card is coming down on the right. Number 38, Villain. You can always rewrite the story. So let's see, I've got the shell, I've got musical notes. What have we got here? Oh, of course. So we have this moon on the top, and I know it's kind of like, it's it's eclipse energy, or it looks very much like a yin yang symbol. This is card number 38, which breaks down to an 11, which is all about new beginnings. So it's like on the way to the new moon or on the way to an eclipse, which if you're watching this in the month of April 2022, there is an eclipse happening at the end of the month in Taurus. It's a new moon eclipse. It's very, very powerful. Oh, it's actually my mom's birthday. Well, she's passed, but it's her, whatever. In this lifetime, it would have been her birthday. So she's here. She must be here. When is that coming up? You can always rewrite the story, villain. I want to draw a clarifier on this one. I'm going to set it down right here. What clarifier do they want me to take? Twin Hearts, which is my deck. So if you're new to the show, I do design and create a lot of my own decks. So this is one of them coming in on the right. This is Twin Hearts. So Twin Hearts is my divine counterpart, soulmate, twin flame, whatever kind of deck. So I did get the sense that it was relationship related, this card, but let's just see what this is. So the card we got is Karmic Entanglement. Karmic Entanglement. And this is a quote from one of my books. So this is a Thunder Rose Collection book. This is a quote from one of my books. So I just want you to like me. Maybe even love me. Heck, you don't even have to love me like that. We could just make love, you know. Amber to Diego and Moxie in Roses. What's happening here? Okay. So villain. You can always rewrite the story. And now we have Karmic Entanglement. So in this book, or in this particular part of the book, Amber is Pamela Cartwright's like 18-year-old daughter. Diego works at the Thunder Rose Ranch, and Amber has a crush on Diego. They're saying it hormones. They're saying it's hormones. So he's just really good looking. He's a little bit older than her. He has his eye on Moxie, who is the heroine of our story. And but Amber is just like so sure. So this story is going somewhere. So Amber is so sure that Diego is her person. And she tries to, in this part of what this card is coming from, she tries to seduce him kind of right under Moxie's nose. They're in the same house. Moxie has something going on. She goes up to go to bed, and Amber tries to seduce Diego around the fireplace. But Amber is Amber's young. She's not really clear on what she wants. She thinks she likes Diego. But then so just hear this out. So she wants to make him jealous. She wants to steal him from Moxie, and she wants Diego to notice her. And one day in the stables, Diego's like cleaning out stables, and Amber's cleaning out stables. And then Luke, who is another one of the ranch hands there, who's kind of more Amber's age, definitely like a very suave, kind of a cowboy type, is there as well. And so Amber tries to use Luke to make Diego jealous and make Diego want her. And her plan backfires, and Diego does not really care. He kind of realizes Amber for who she is. He realizes, she's younger, she has a crush, she doesn't really know what she wants, she doesn't really know how to use her feminine power, so to speak. He kind of has a gist of what Amber's all about, and he has compassion for her, but he doesn't play into her schemes at all. He's clearly Moxie's divine counterpart or soulmate in this lifetime kind of thing. And so Amber is just like this distracting energy that tries to kind of mess with him. So I've got some masculine energy listening here. Otherwise, this wouldn't be coming up because we're focusing a little bit more on Diego than Amber. But Diego knows who he is, knows what he's all about, and understands what he wants. And he's not going to let Amber distract him from Moxie. So this karmic entanglement, all these people in the story obviously are from the same soul family. They're all playing out roles. You know, they've got roles to play in this lifetime. And Amber's kind of role in the Moxie Diego situation is to kind of come in and just try to stir things up a little bit. And she really doesn't have, I mean, Diego's not her person. And I don't even know if it's that much of a like sexual attraction. It just feels more like she's kind of playing around with Diego's emotions, so to speak. So like she's trying to manipulate Diego emotionally by flaunting herself. And, you know, in this card, she kind of like strips naked. And that's where the quote from the book comes from. They're by the fireplace. They're just kind of hanging out. He probably should know better and just be like, leave. But he was hanging out. He helped Moxie like go upstairs and everything. And they were having like hot cocoa by the fire. And all of a sudden Amber got like a wild idea and she strips down and she tells Diego, you know, like, I think I love you. And just, you know, you don't even have to love me like that. You can just make love to me. She's never had a lover before. She's very green in terms of how to work with a relationship like this. And at that part of the book, Diego was like some of you guys listening. Okay, so he's very turned on by Amber. Obviously, if we read further, he says, like, this is by far one of the best physical bodies I've ever seen in my lifetime. And he works at a ladies club. So he's seen plenty of, you know, bodies, feminine bodies and bodies and all that naked. And he says, this is like the best body I've ever seen. But then he like totally comes to his senses. He's more mature than her. He's had a lot more life experience. And he's like, okay, he kind of helps her, like, doesn't help her get dressed, but he kind of covers her in a blanket. And he's like, okay, you know, I don't see you like that. And he basically leaves and he goes to spend the night in the gatehouse. And so Amber is very like taken aback by that. You know, she's very distraught, like, how can he not love me? You know, basically showered everything on him and he's not interested in that. So I get the sense that the first set of people kind of listening to this are having something similar go on. Either you're a masculine and you're having a feminine around you who is not your person, but is trying to like woo you, so to speak. But it seems like if you really pay attention, you're able to see through that for what it truly is. That's not your person. Your person is either literally upstairs in their bedroom or metaphorically, your person is waiting for you to come to them. And so any distractions or entanglements that are outside of the trajectory of your divine counterpart union, you're asked to just take notice of it, that it's coming to you as a temptation test, they're saying, and to be very clear with yourself. Yes. Okay. So to be very clear with yourself that you're over that kind of, they're saying that you're over that kind of reaction, that you aren't falling for schemes and scams anymore. And so this is a test of how far you have come. And I just saw 4404 on the timer. So a lot of 444s going on there. This is a test of how far you've come, because in the past you would have succumbed to that type of an advance. I'm feeling a lot of sacral chakra activation here. So I don't know who this is that's listening, but yeah. So there's a lot of physical attraction going on, but you are beyond that now. and you are in it to win it. Like, you want your counterpart and you're not going to settle for anything less than that. So your guides are congratulating you, even if this hasn't happened yet. So I get this sense that either it's something similar of a type of a situation has just recently happened, or forewarning, it's about to happen. And it's big confirmation for you of many different things. One, your intuition, because you sensed it coming, and this reading is really just confirmation. And it's a kudos from your spiritual team that you have risen beyond that type of circumstance. Wow, that seems very specific. I wonder how many people resonate with that. So the villain, you rewriting the story, is in the past, you would have gotten all entangled in the Amber situation, and it would have been like a big mess that you would have had to have gotten yourself out of with the help of Source and your guides. But it would have had like all this fallout and crap that you had to deal with. And you're not fooled by that anymore. You're not fooled by that anymore. You've paid your dues. The final test has either arrived or is about to arrive, and you know how to handle yourself better now. So give yourself a pat on the back for that, because you have rewritten the story. Now, it sounds like there is something else in the message of this card with this girl on the beach and the eclipse. So they want me to pull Pleiadian power. So coming in from the right again is Pleiadian power. This is also my deck, and this is going to finish out the reading. Let's see. It's this one. So the card we got, oh gosh, okay. This has been coming out a lot. This is Cassie, the Heart Fairy. When you know where your heart is, when you feel the magic within, then all is right in your world. So that relationship thing was very long and drawn out and very specific. But I do notice that these are both pink cards from two different decks. There's a lot of yellow going on here. So this is the connection between the solar plexus and the heart chakra. And for those of you where that very specific story didn't really apply, this can have to do with anything in your life happening in the next 30 days where your heart is just no longer in it. But you've stayed with it, or put up with it, or kept yourself attuned to it because you thought that that's where your power lie. That's very weird. What does that mean? So you were kind of like giving your power away to a certain situation, person. There's that robin again. Now it's on the telephone pole wire, like closer to my window. Holy smokes. I still don't know if I have good enough light. It's so fat. Hold on. So this is a new beginning for you. Let me see if I can just, oh, it flew away. You little jerk. Okay. So, for your eyes only for you. What is that? That's a James Bond song. Hold on. What is it called? For your eyes only. That's a James Bond movie. British agent James Bond is dispatched to recover a strategic communication device before it finds its way into the hands of the Russians. When the secret device that controls Britain's Polaris submarines goes missing after the spy ship carrying it sinks, 007 joins forces with a vengeful woman and a wealthy hero of the Greek resistance movement to find the equipment. Oh shit, my battery. Okay. So, that's not my battery. All right. There's so many messages coming in. So, first of all, it looked like my battery was dying, but it really wasn't. So, things aren't always what they seem. And I do find it interesting that it says 007, who's kind of like our we could say 007 is like you, like the bringer of the light, like the hero or the heroine of the story. Joins forces with a vengeful woman. I swear this is like the whole Amber thing again. And a wealthy hero of the Greek resistance, which is our protest people, our service to Source and Gaia people, to find the equipment. Huh. An action spy movie. Let me just look up one more thing. The lyrics to this song. So this side was sung by Sheena Easton. For your eyes only can see me through the night. For your eyes only, I never need to hide. You can see so much in me that's new. I never felt until I looked at you. For your eyes only for you, you'll see what no one else can see, and now I'm breaking free. The love I know you need in me, the fantasy you've freed in me, only for you, only for you. For your eyes only, the nights are never cold. You really know me, that's all I need to know. Maybe I'm an open book because I know you're mine, but you won't need to read between the lines. For it's the same thing. The passions that collide in me, the wild abandoned side of me, only for you, for your eyes only. So this is totally all relationship. I mean, you can kind of take the story and make it about a career or a job too, I would say, or a situation going on in your life, and make it like something's coming in to tempt you that's not for you. But if you know where your heart is, and if you don't give your power away to these types of things, if you can feel the magic within for what it really is, then you're able to rewrite the story, because karmic entanglement sometimes is things that have preceded this lifetime. Meaning you get caught in a karmic loop with some of the same players over and over and over again until you learn the lesson. And for those of you listening to this, you have learned the lesson. And so now the karmic loop that you've been stuck in, the story's rewritten, and that, for lack of a better word, timeline, where you continue to come back together again with the same soul group of people and play out the same situations over and over again, that has been dissolved. So a lot of you, yes, so many chills. So a lot of you have done this work that has preceded this lifetime and has broken some karmic loops that have been there for quite some time, where you're continuing to revisit same lessons, same storylines, maybe, it's all changing now. And it is. Consciously, you've done the work. And so now you're able to rewrite your story, and you're able to break free of those loops, and you're able to be the magician and no longer give your power away to these situations, and strictly work from the heart and be heart-based in whatever's coming up for you next. So be that, a new career, because that did show up in the first card in the reading. Be that a new line of service work, which showed up in the second card, where you be called into action somewhere, or in a new relationship, seeking out a new relationship in your life that's more aligned with who you are now, which is open-hearted, loving, unity consciousness, Christ consciousness, like you've risen up, you've ascended beyond the limitations of the 3D world, and you're ready now to experience your 3D life from a higher timeline, a higher perspective, a higher trajectory than you've ever been before in any other lifetime. So this is a game changer. And this eclipse energy coming in, or this next new moon for you, whenever you're hearing this, is going to be where they're saying like the red carpet rolls out for you. And you walk down this, It's not so much like it is in a way like you're the star of your own show. You are the diamond, which Bridgerton keeps coming up because I just watched it yesterday. But there's a part where, you know, the door opens and all the young debutantes have to present themselves to the queen, and she picks like her favorite, her diamond out of each one. You're the diamond and the queen in this scenario is like source saying, you're my diamond. You finally did it. You finally polished yourself up and were able to overcome all these challenges. And now your rewards start to roll in and roll out for you. And it's not just this eclipse, although that is a very significant trigger point in the news starting to come in. But the astrology around this next, they're just saying the astrology for this year of 2022, if you're listening to it in 2022, is very significant in helping roll out the new you, whatever that means to you, whatever you've been working on or working towards. And so, you know, don't get all up in your head about what it means, like, how is it going to happen and when is it, right? All the ones we want to hear. How and when is it going to happen and all of that. Stay focused on the now as best you can, because that's where the juicy, they're calling it juicy content. That's where the juicy content lives. So the robin appearing outside your window when you just happen to step forward and look down, or when your higher self has you move to the right a little bit to look out the window and see the robin again on the telephone wire. And if you're focused on thinking about the future, or most of you should not really anymore really be so focused on the past, because you've worked through all that detritus and you've released as best you could most of those things. But if you get too focused on the future, then you're going to miss all your cues. It's like a cue ball. You're going to miss all your cues of what you're supposed to do next. And for those of you that have service work opportunities coming up, like, you need to be in the now, because all of those signposts and markers and people that you need to connect with are going to be coming to you synchronistically. And so you have to be aware in order to kind of catch those messages. All right. Wow. So Spirit is saying that is all. They are complete with this next 30 days channeling and reading. I hope you enjoyed this. The next time we meet, we are going to be playing with the Pixie Carnival. So if you follow this podcast in order, then for the next 3 months, the Spirit says, we are going to be working with my book, Pixie Carnival. It's called Cotton Candy Girl. And we are going to be, like I wanted to do a few months ago, but this move kind of got in the way and precluded all of my playing at the circus. But we are going to be playing at the carnival, and we are going to be meeting a lot of fun new friends. So those will be Sunday sessions, which I will be recording the first one of these. If you follow this when this goes out, then tomorrow's Sunday. That first Sunday session with Pixie Carnival will be then. So I want to thank you all so much for joining me. Take care, my friends, my lovelies, my hearties, and I will see you all again soon.